Hey everyone, this is Charlie the Plug, your host of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, powered by Empower You Ventures. Don't forget to subscribe so you too can be a part of the biggest empowerment network on YouTube and Facebook. We bring you weekly interviews of Detroit difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship, community involvement, also reaction to business news and community news. This does not happen without your support. Thank you. Welcome to the Detroit Metro Plug podcast. I am Charlie the Plug, bringing you another episode, 125 of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast. That deserves some air horns. I want to thank those who are joining us live on our various platforms. Shout out to those who are on our LinkedIn at the Charles McKay LinkedIn page. Definitely want to encourage you to comment or ask your questions on tonight's topic and guests. Thank you for those who join us on YouTube, who will be watching the replay of our YouTube channel. Also, Facebook. Thank you for those who are watching us on Facebook at the Detroit Metro Plug podcast. Please leave your comments and questions for our guests on this live platform. And if you're finding value in what we're doing, please like, subscribe, share with your friends and family, associates, neighbors, anybody who wants to celebrate positive content. Every week, we bring you interviews of what we call Detroit difference makers who are making positive contributions in the city of Detroit in the area of entrepreneurship, community involvement, leaders of nonprofit organizations, community projects, new entrepreneurs, authors, filmmakers, you name it. We're celebrating the positive contributions of many people right here in the city of Detroit. So I want to encourage you, like, subscribe, and share with your friends. We got a great topic and a great guest tonight. Our guest is going to share their story from foster care to founder. She founded a great organization called the L.I.V.E Outreach, and she's going to share about that and what they're doing here in our community. But before we go into introducing our guests, I want to highlight our platinum sponsor. Here we go. There we go. All right, so shout out to our platinum sponsor. This podcast is brought to you by Brother Silas Williams. He is a realtor with Community Choice Realty Incorporated. He will help you to unlock the door to your new dream home, making home ownership easy for first-time buyers. So those who are aware or may not be aware or may have heard that the interest rates for prime interest rates has dropped. So making mortgages more affordable, interest rates are coming down. So if you're looking to get a home, you've been sitting on the fence, now's the time to start looking. There's also, if you're a city resident in the city of Detroit, there's also some first-time home buyer programs that helps you with the down payment and closing costs. So seek out those programs and holler at my boy, Silas Williams, friend of the podcast, who will help you get your home. Maybe you already have a home. You need to relocate. Maybe looking for different schools for your kids or maybe more space. Check out Silas Williams. His number, you can call or text 586-251-7253. That's 586-251-7253. Or you can email him at silas.williams@gmail.com. Shout out to our platinum sponsor. All right, let's go into introducing our guest. I'm going to bring her on the stage. And let me do this. I want to read this bio, this delicious bio. All right. Our next guest for episode 25 is the founder of a nonprofit organization called the L.I.V.E Outreach that provides resources and tools to young children and teens transitioning from foster care to independence, also serving families in underserved communities. Our next guest, key demographic with our organization, is the next generation of people. The mission is to provide support, encouragement, while while innovating effective and efficient solutions to understanding families in the communities. Our next guest is also the author of an autobiography called I'm Just Trying to Live, insights on her life growing up in foster care. She's a graduate of Murray Wright High School. Uh, 2014, she achieved her business administration associate's degree from Macomb Community College. 2020, she received her bachelor's from Ferris State University in integrative studies. She's currently on the board of an organization uh, located in Chicago. She'll talk more about that. She's also a trustee on the library board of the city of Harper Woods. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome to episode 125, none other than Malika Williams.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Thank you for being a part of episode 125. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can remove that. Okay. It's cutting off your head. I wanted to take that thing off. I'll be adding all these bells and whistles to the stream, but All right. So I did a little introduction of you. So thank you for being on the show. And I always ask this first question to most of my guests. If someone is going to ask, who is Malika, what would you tell
them? I guess when you think of ambition, determination, I guess I could be a little mean, a little funny, just all of the above, but definitely a go-getter, a person that's loyal, reliable. Like anybody else, I have my flaws, but for the most part, I'm willing to take accountability. And I'm always looking for reasons and ways and changing and making or just, elevating myself and the people that's around me. So I think that's a big part of who I am.
I like what you said. You like to elevate people around you. And there's multi sides to you. Okay. I like that. So we're going to get into how you founded your organization and the programs and resources you provide to the community. But I want to give you a chance to share with our audience and those who will be watching us live and those who will watch the replay a little bit about your backstory. And I was doing research in preparation of this interview, and I learned some things about you. It was kind of a rocky childhood. Where should we begin?
Well, typically I always go back to basically, I was in that era of time when a lot of parents was on drugs. I grew up kind of in that crack era. And unfortunately, my father was a person that abused drugs. I started running away when I was about 14 years old. And I entered foster care around that same time. So definitely once foster care and Child Protective Service got involved, me and my two younger siblings were removed from the home. And basically that's when this journey began for me, as far as the teen pregnancy, the incarceration, just the kind of unstableness in my life beginning at 14 years old, kind of like a snowfall kind of type of thing, right? It was something completely different from me, but I felt like I just felt like where I was at home, I would have preferred to be away from that. So I think now going back into that, that's how the universe wanted. Of course, that's how it was supposed to be in order for me to be where I'm at right now, to be able to tell that story, to be able to show that it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish.
Right.
And it's all into what you put your mind to. I could have been a person that would have been a victim to say, or still to this day saying some of the things like that kept me from accomplishing those things, but it motivated me to want to accomplish them, because statistically, being, in foster care, being a teen mother, and also being a felon about by the time I was 17 years old. Statistically, I would have been, in a higher range of abusing drugs, a person that would have been a habitual offender,
Yeah.
a person that would have probably had multiple children and in various situations and different things like that. So being able to kind of reflect on beating the eyes of those things at such a young age. When I talk about it, is mind blowing because at the time when I was going through those things, it was like hell. It was like a real dark and deep, dark place that didn't never think I could come out of, like especially being in jail and, being 17 and being in jail incarcerated with people that are facing like murder and armed robbery and, real heinous. And I'm around real grown women, that is people that been in and out of prison and jail. This was nothing new to them. And then you put somebody who's never been in no trouble around these type of people. I didn't learn nothing but more negative things. So trying to come out of that and still being a teen mother and trying to gather my life together after that, by me being a ward of the state, it's temporary ward of the state, they never provided me any tools or resources when I came home. I came home maybe 2 months before my 18th birthday. So pretty much I came home to nothing.
Wow.
And I still had a child that I still had to basically be a mother to. So
wow.
Those things is what really motivated me to say, I want to be that for somebody else, because throughout the course of those times in my life, there were people that were strangers to me that were genuinely good-hearted people that was in positions to possibly assist me, or they seen something in me to motivate me or keep me going. So I just want to be that for somebody else because, just paying it forward.
Right. I like the fact that what you shared is that though you experienced some adversity, you experienced some pain, disappointment, you chose to use that to channel that and help others. I want to go back to your childhood. Now, you didn't know this about me, I don't think, before this interview, but I actually, I'm a podcaster at night and a public servant during the day. And I've been blessed with almost 14 and a half years with the state of Michigan. And I used to work in DHS, and I was a child protective service worker, investigator. So I kind of know the little bit of ins and outs. I wasn't a foster care. I was more, we would do the removals if we thought a child was, we substantiated preponderance of evidence that the child was subjected to neglect or abuse. And so what was the trigger that got you into the system? Was it through the schools, a neighbor?
So originally it was like physical abuse in a home, and so
marks and bruises. You went to school or something, or what?
What happened was when I started to run away, one of the young ladies' parents was like, really, you.
How old were you when you started running away? Was you a teen?
I was 14.
14, okay.
And they were like, you can't live here. I can't just have you move in. If you
to a friend's house.
Yes.
Okay.
They were like, we would have to make a police report.
Yeah, that's how I have
make a police report. We're gonna have to let somebody know because I just don't want to have you here and nobody know that you're here, and kind of like it triggered an investigation.
Yeah, because when they
went to the house,
when
they went to the house, I guess it wasn't no food in the house, and it was just other things. And of course, I guess the allegations of things that I said, they were able to prove that when they went and visit the home.
Yeah, the police had to file a report. Once the police got involved, they have to send what they call a referral to Child Protective Services. And then that's how they get involved. And then once they go do a home visit, a well-being visit, because you probably, at some point, you had to tell the address where you actually live.
Right.
And they had to do a well-being, what they call a well-being check. And if they see that we check the bedrooms to see if there's bedding, food. If we look in the cupboards, the refrigerators, sometimes we'll run the water to see if it's hot water, and we have to notate all this stuff. And then it's like there's like this grade of risk, and we do like what we call a risk assessment. And if this is a high risk, it can trigger other things where our manager or our supervisor gets involved, and we start to draft a petition if we think that you're at risk. So it sounds like that's what happened from that that initial police report.
Yeah, and also they did take pictures of like the whaps and the bruises.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, so
yeah.
once
So
they
then you had
had
yeah,
that, and
yeah,
then they went
yeah,
in to the house, and it wasn't any, you know, adequate food and things like that.
right, yeah.
That's kind of how that went.
Now, this is very interesting because, man, what was you going through when you, because you were trying to go to a safe space, but then to have your family subjected to all this, what was that like doing?
I feel like, you know, I grew up in the era that, you know, what happened in your house, stay in your house. So I think for many years, I mean, just my personal feelings,
Right,
you know, even after trying to rectify things as a young adult with my parents, that kind of always left a bad taste, in their mouth because, but I'm just one of them type of people that I'm just a warrior at heart.
right,
And if
right,
it's something that I don't agree with and I feel it's not right or it's not fair, I don't
right,
really care who I got to go against if it's
right.
something that makes me feel uncomfortable. So I just always kind of been like that, even as a kid. Like, hey, this don't seem too right, and
Yeah,
it's not like no way nobody can really convince me that this is okay. This is just not
right.
right. So
Mm,
um, initially it did, and I feel like it's a ripple. It's still even years later. Um, Even though it's not spoken, but I always kind of feel like it was a wedge, like especially with my younger siblings because they were kind of too young to really understand what was going on at the time.
yeah, yeah. Because
My,
what happens is, if we substantiate with one child, if there's other children, they have all the children and siblings got to be removed if it's not safe.
right. So my two younger brothers, they were removed, and
Yeah.
so they were in a foster home, and I end up going to like Vista Maria for my first 6 months.
Woo. Well, Vista Maria over there in Dearborn,
Yes.
it's rough. I had to go. Yeah, I had some cases where I had some of the children, or they were teens. They were in Vista Maria. It was rough over there.
And so I sat there for like 6 months until I was placed in
Hmm.
my first foster home.
No relative placement or anything.
East side. So come to find, well, not, I'm a kid. I really didn't understand that, but my
Right.
father never established paternity. So that meant like nobody on my father's
Oh,
side of the family could, because he technically legally, wasn't my father. And I think at that
wow.
time he refused to establish paternity because of that. So it was a
Yeah.
lot of
A lot of times the workers try to find relative placement as a priority if they can.
and so it was kind of like a lot of people it was a lot going on, and I felt like maybe people didn't really want to get involved
Right.
as far as that. So no, I wasn't placed with no relatives. I was in foster care.
Was there your workers? And I'm not
Mm-mm.
trying only because I know the insides. Were they trying to work unification? Did they provide services for your? Was your mom alive at the time?
Yes. So
Trying to provide services for
she
both.
initially got my brothers back, but I'll never forget. The worker came to
Hmm.
the Vista Maria,
Hmm.
and she said, "Well, you know what? It's a change of plans." Because this exactly was her exact words. Your parents don't want you back.
Mm, man, that had to be devastating to hear that.
Yeah,
I don't. I'm not
it
trying to
was.
trigger
It took a long time
you. Yeah, that's
for me
deep.
to
Yeah.
not even get teary eyed about that.
Wow.
But yeah, like I said, accountability. That's why it's so big for me because, you know, at the end it was more like you was upset because I exposed the things that was going on in
Oh,
the home. So, if you want to be out there, then be out there. But I'm gonna get my two little kids and I'm gonna do that. So yeah, it definitely put some resentment there for sure.
yeah, yeah. Now, with the services they provided to your parents, or your mom, did
So she
she
had to go through the parenting classes and all of that.
did
And
she
my
get something?
father, he was, I guess he wasn't able to pass any drug tests.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah, they do.
ultimately, at some point, my mother basically said that he removed himself from the home, and that's kind of
Right.
how she ended up getting my brothers back.
Okay, okay, all right, all right. So that unification plan worked for your younger siblings, and they decided. And so you were getting up in age. Was you like 16 or 17
I
when they?
was 14, and
Oh,
I was 14 when I went to Vista Maria. So I want to say it was like maybe March. So I was maybe a couple of months before my 15th birthday.
okay. Okay. And then now you did. Now this is amazing because you didn't know that I used to work in CPS. Now here's another tidbit. My father, uh, he was abandoned as a child, and he never met his parents. He was in foster home to foster home
Mm.
and never got adopted. And he carried that pain all the way up until he ended up being, it was the 70s. So he got subjected to the drug culture, heroin. Um, he didn't get clean till I was an adult in my 30s. But he carried that pain of being in different homes. And he didn't even share. I mean, there's some things he was subjected to that was traumatic. So I can't imagine. And he became one of those statistics that you talked about in your intro. So I can't imagine. Was there different foster homes, or maybe you had a good experience then?
So the first foster home I went to, the lady was a real over religious lady, but she was like a hypocrite over religious.
She played the lottery.
She was seeing me and the other girl that was
Right.
that was my foster sister. She would send us to church, but she would never go. Stuff like that.
Oh,
They
okay.
just walk to church. But one of the things was, I mean, she wasn't never terrible to me, but I felt like she treated the young lady that was there before me. She was a little younger than me. She kind of, talked down to her a lot. And one thing about me, honestly, I feel like my energy and my spirit allow a person to know how they gonna navigate with me.
Right,
And she
right,
never tried that with me, but she treated the other young lady like that, and I really didn't like that. So when a worker would come and visit, like every week or how often it was she would come to visit, I pretty much was telling her, like, it wasn't bad for me, but I kind of didn't like how the lady was down talking to young lady and this and that. I can't remember exactly how, but I ended up going to another foster home, which
right.
I'm still keeping communication with this second foster mother, where she was
Mhm.
really nice. It was a really good environment, and I actually end up getting a young lady from the first foster home to come to the second foster home with me.
Mhm. Okay.
So, uh, like I said, I had some anger issues.
Yeah,
And
I
my
can
foster
understand.
mother had a house full of foster girls, and we was all teenagers.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's just say I was like the one that was like, because I grew up in around a lot of violence too. I
Yeah, yeah,
witnessed my first murder when I was 8 years old. I witnessed my
yeah.
uncle get murdered when I was 8.
Right, right,
And like my father and all of them was really street. They were really from the street.
right,
Like they were really about that life. So
right,
uh, I was used to resolving issues with
right, right.
extreme violence because that's all I ever been
Yeah,
around.
that's my dad. My dad.
And like
I
real
know
life
exactly. Yeah,
90s
yes, yes.
east side type of wild wild west type of stuff. I've been
Right,
exposed to all of that as a very young
right,
kid, so all I knew to resolve
right,
things was like, what's up, you know what I'm saying?
right,
So
right.
I ended up taking, of course, that type of mentality everywhere I
Mhm.
went.
Right.
So when I went over there and it was too much for the foster mother, she like, I got a lot of love for you, but I can't really have you over here threatening the other girls and kind of having them feel uncomfortable.
Right.
And at that time, I'm finding out that I'm pregnant. So she was
Okay.
saying that's even more. You got a baby on the way too. And so then
Okay.
they sent me to the Denby Salvation Army Center.
Wow.
I don't know if you remember that. That was on Pembroke and Evergreen.
Pembroke and Evergreen. Yeah, that's that. Yeah,
It was
that's
called
my.
the
That,
Denby
I grew up on the
Salvation
west
Army
side.
Center.
So that's over
Yes,
there near Henry Ford High School. That's where I went to high school.
yes.
So I
So
know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
I stayed at that facility because they had like they had a shelter part, but they had another
Right.
part for young ladies that were pregnant.
Yeah.
So that's the part that I stayed in until I got placed in another foster home after I had my baby.
Hmm. Wow, man. This is so. I gotta ask. So you talked about your background, the challenges. Um, I can relate because just with my dad experience and how he had to deal with this trauma, even until as an adult, he always had a chip on his shoulder, but he finally calm down a little when you get older. But I just can't imagine having to fend for yourself as a coping mechanism. You know, nobody's keeping you safe. You had to stand your ground. So I wonder what was the healing process to where you're at today? Because you don't look like what you've been through. You look
Everybody
joyful.
said it. It's
You
still a healing
smiling. You have
process.
good energy. But when I hear that story, I'm like, yo, you should
Everybody
have
be like that, like what?
book one or something. You're supposed
Well,
to
I feel like I'm still healing. It's
right.
never you never really heal from them things. It's things that definitely trigger me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and it's just something that I like to. I feel like a lot of times we don't like to talk about a lot of the trauma and some of the real bad stuff. I mean, I
yeah.
feel like that's part of the healing though, is being able to talk about it, because even with me saying, when the lady came and said, hey, your parents don't want you back no more, it took many years for me to tell that without getting all teary-eyed. And
Right, right.
but understanding now as a young adult that has young adult children and things like that, and I go through my own things with my own children, I understand that sometimes it's not no book to being a parent. And
Right.
I understand now that my parents only was given the tools that they had. So it was a lot of things that, of course, as a kid,
Right.
you kind of think that they know it all, but, you don't know it all, just like I don't know it all. And you trying to figure it out, and you think you're making the best decision, and you really not. And,
Yes.
the best part of healing, though, is like the forgiving part, to
Yeah.
understand that, you know, uh, you don't know all the answers, and people is prone to make mistakes. And at
Yeah.
the end of it, I'm not God. That's something that my parents, and unfortunately, they no longer here with us. But that's something that they will have to deal with their creator with, on the
Right.
choices that they made while they were here. Just like I would have to with my kids, and so forth and so on. It's a choice that you make, and it's a reward and a consequence to anything that you do.
Now, if you don't mind sharing, because I think this your story is going to be helpful for a lot of people who are going to watch this. Um, what was your journey to healing? Did you do therapy, counseling? What was it
So,
spirituality?
of course, I did plenty of therapy when I was in foster care, because, of course, that was
Right.
part of
Yes.
that.
Mandatory. Right. Yeah.
Um, and I've done some as an adult. I think more too is just the nonprofit is therapeutic for me.
Okay.
Being able to speak to other young ladies and young men, and being relatable, because I don't know why they think that going to jail stuff and that's I don't know. It's kind of like they be kind of surprised that once I get to telling a story, they probably think I'm gonna come in there with this, you know, do right, go to school. But then once I get to getting into intel of details of things, of explaining, like, we sometimes we didn't have no food. And sometimes, what I'm saying, I used to get, you know, whooped for things that was like kid stuff you shouldn't really get, whooped for. And it was extensive type of whoopings, not no regular type of whooping. So just kind of explaining that uh it's all in how you make out, it's all what you make out of it. That's the only
So,
thing I can really say, is like, it's almost like you got to think of it as it's a
right.
temporary situation. It's a temporary situation. It's a temporary situation. Nothing lasts forever. It's temporary.
Right.
Um, so even through now, you go through life and everything don't go all the way that you want it to go. You still have to have coping mechanisms, and you have to be able to adjust. And that's going to be all your life. So that's
Right.
one of the things I let the kids know, like, living every day is going to be some type of adjustment and change, or something that might not be so happy. I'm still being disappointed in my adult life. You know what I'm saying? That never
Yeah.
goes away. People disappoint me. Some people do think, yeah, it's always going to be things that come up, but how you cope with them and how you move around when those things happen
Mhm.
determines the outcome.
Okay. Sounds good. So it sounds like part of your healing process was definitely you benefited from therapy, but also serving others and telling your story has helped also in your healing process as well. Is that fair
And
to
I
say?
love to write too. I love to write. Journaling is really good.
Okay.
Um, just like I did the twisted storytelling. I don't know if you ever heard of
Yeah,
that at Mary
I've
Grove.
been to that in Mangrove. Yeah, I've been to a
Yeah, I
few.
did that in March. And to be honest with you, oh man, normally I do these things and it'd be so easy, but that was my first time being like in an audience setting, and
Yeah.
I just really enjoyed it. And then at the end of it, so many people came up to me to hug me and just like, you know, like they were so moved, and I just feel like I'm in my purpose. You know, and it feel good when you know what your purpose is, when you living in your purpose. So, you know, people gravitate to me for that. So I love that.
That's awesome. Tell us, I would like for you to share with our audience. You kind of bounced back from, you were charged with a felony at 17. Is that my understanding?
Yep, 17.
Were you an adult or juvenile facility or something else?
They charged me as an adult.
Okay, so you were, how long were you in an adult facility?
I want to say about 7 or 8 months. I went
7 or 8 months.
in like March. Wait a minute, no. I went in like August the 1st. I was sentenced December the 7th.
You pled innocent or guilty to an assault charge, or?
So I had originally 2 counts of attempted murder.
Okay, all right.
They dropped one down to a felonious assault.
Okay.
But I think the other one was, which I'm actually got that expunged. Thank God, 20 plus years.
All right, good.
Finally got that expunged, thank God. But yeah, it was I had basically when I got pregnant with my son, his father had another young lady pregnant too at the same time. So you already know that's drama, and
right, that's drama. Yeah, we don't got to relive that.
You dealing with a east side wanna be killer already.
You ain't got to go into detail. What I really want to know, how did you because I read in your bio, despite all that, you end up going to college, you end up getting your bachelor's, you start this great organization. What was the turning point where you was like, man, I got to get myself together? What happened?
Well, I always loved school, and one thing I will say about my parents, they always instilled education. They were always really structured, though. They always had things that they wanted their kids to accomplish, because all my siblings are very good people. They do very well for themselves. But my oldest, my firstborn son, I did not want him to have the same type of lifestyle and go through some of the same things. So when I got home, I had to take anger management classes. That was part of my probation. I had to get a psych evaluation. That was a part of my probation, because I just had so much anger. We want to make sure it's just anger and not something else.
Right.
And then I ended up getting at a job. At that kind of, I started working at the Marriott, at the Renaissance.
Yeah. Okay.
And as a housekeeper. Okay. And then gradually started working my way up, like transferred to the front desk and different things like that. So I just started working. And by the time when I was 19, I ended up being pregnant with my second child. So I had responsibilities and things like that. And I definitely wanted to give them something better than what I had. So that was definitely my motivation to keep, on a straight path and being consistent with that.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. So what I want to do is we're going to go specifically what you're doing. How do you started the L.I.V.E outreach, your book. We're going to go into detail about that and some projects that you got coming up. So we're going to take a quick break, do a quick announcement. When we come back, we're going to get more specific in the work that you're doing now. Okay.
Okay.
Just one quick announcement break, and we'll be right back.
I have a good idea.
That was the wrong one.
Hey, Detroit. Are you a Detroit area small business owner, entrepreneur, leader of a nonprofit organization, or a business service provider? And are you looking for ways to share your product, service, or your programs with a local Detroit audience? Let us help you increase your reach by becoming an ad sponsor with the Detroit Metro Plug podcast powered by Empower You Ventures. Our weekly video podcast is a growing local feature on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn that focuses on local business and community news. This gives you a chance to connect with local Detroit customers or clients. We offer cost-effective ads to fit your needs. Click the link to learn more about our current ad specials. And remember, connections matter. This is Charlie the Plug with the Detroit Metro Plug Podcast.
Black Leaders Detroit, they knew that during the pandemic, that Black businesses were going to be left out of any type of funding that the government gave, and they wanted to make sure that they were able to figure out how they could step up and help, because again, this is their community, and they want to make sure that their community is still here when this pandemic is over with. And the only way you can do that is by offering support to your community, and so they stepped up and they did that.
I've been telling everyone I know about Black Leaders Detroit. The things that they're doing is simply amazing. And they're taking care of business for the Black business owners.
It's $1 a week donation to keep this great thing moving. $1 a week keeps it popping. Black Leaders Detroit.
All right, so we're back with episode 125. I want to shout out our platinum sponsor, Brother Silas Williams. He's a realtor, Community Choice Realty. He's going to help you unlock the door of your new dream home if you're a first-time home buyer, or if you're looking to go to another neighborhood or to move up because you need more space to your dream home. Let Brother Silas Williams help you out. You can be reached at 586-251-7252. 586-251-7252. Email it silas.williams@gmail.com and let him help you to move to your dream home. And also there's first-time buyer home programs that you want to explore, and he can help you with that. All right, so we are back with our guests. For those who've joined us on episode 125, we've been talking to our guests about from foster care to founder. She shared a little about her background, just overcoming many challenges, being in different foster homes, dealing with the issue with her parents who said they didn't want to reunify, and just how she dealt with that, deal with anger issues, and how her path to healing, and which brings her today to founded her organization and to write her book. Now, did you do your book first or you started your organization?
My organization was founded in 2014. We just celebrated 10 years. So,
okay.
Yeah. We celebrated 10 years by giving 60 bikes away and 80 kites away to the kids on the east side at Ball Duck Park. So it was a great celebration. I finished the book during a pandemic. I've been wanting to write this book for a long time. I had started it a few times, but during the pandemic, when we were locked down, I'm like, this is my perfect opportunity to execute this and, get it out there. Something that I really wanted to accomplish. So just to check it off my bucket list, I was able to execute it. So I was very excited about that.
Okay. All right. So you founded the organization. You said 10 years you celebrated?
2014. Yeah.
2014. Tell us about that. Were you working at the Marriott at the time you started this, or
yes?
How did it come about?
Originally I was kind of like telling my foster mother that I wanted to purchase a home in the city of Detroit, since we have so many abandoned buildings and things that have so much potential. I was like, hey, maybe we could get a building and I could possibly get it rehabbed, and we could do semi-independent living where we would provide like essential life skills and resources and things to prepare these kids when they are going to college or, going to learn a trade or things like that. So originally that's kind of how the idea started. And it kind of went from there. I went back to Vista Maria and started volunteering there. I started mentoring there first. So I started going back to all the places like Lutheran Services, Boysville, all the places that I remember, agencies and things at that time that I had worked with or had been in, and started from there, like just volunteering, just to kind of get some insight on how things are ran, how things work, because it was like, I didn't have no guidance. Unfortunately, it's not like it's resources there to say, okay, you want to start a nonprofit, this is what you do. So it was a lot of trial and error. But once people see that I was serious and I was consistent, I was getting that help here and there. And then it kind of grew from there.
Okay. So I shared my screen. It shows your website. So what's the whole purpose of your organization?
So the purpose is to assist the youth in between the demographic we serve is 12 to 17 and just providing them with essential life skills such as like financial literacy, dietary education. Um, you know, we do a lot of mental health awareness. I've been getting into a lot of health more things just because, during the pandemic, I feel like I've seen more with the mental health. So, yeah, we do a lot of yoga, meditation, just different things like that. But of course, book club, because I'm an author. I always think that storytelling is good. Journaling, vision boards, things like that. We do a toiletry drive typically, every year. Actually, our toiletry drive started September the 1st. We go all the way to the end of the year and we collect toiletry items and we provide that to families in need. I've been getting a lot of calls about kids in, some schools. So I think that'll be where our toiletry drive focus towards when we do get the items is we would work on getting that to kids in school to make sure that they have all the things that they need.
Okay. I'm just scrolling on your website. Oh, yeah, there it is. Founded in July 2014. Community focused organization dedicated to giving back. So you mainly support, provide resources to foster.
So the thing is, originally it was just foster kids, but as the need grew, the board decided that it would be essential for underserved communities because I get a lot of calls, and then by it being foster care is a lot of stipulations as far as confidentiality and different things like that. So we were limited some of the things that we could do with those kids. And then when we were getting, notifications of other things like homelessness and things like that with kids that were just kind of out there that needed those assistance, we decided to expand to just the underserved between the 12 and 17. Of course, foster care is always going to be dear to my heart because I think that's definitely a demographic that is not in the forefront. You don't hear a lot of people talking about foster kids and assisting foster kids and, the effects and things that they go through. So I'm going to always be the voice of reasoning for that.
Tell us a little bit about your board. Those are your current board members?
Yes. So Carol is great. She has her own private practice. She's a counselor. Mr. Mason is an academic coach. So this is and Elijah is our youth advisor, our program director. So we are trying to be more youth led. That is the goal, is for the youth to lead the organization, and we pretty much support. So she does a lot of the engagement. So we're trying to get more board members and also more youth committee members to assist us with this mission.
Okay. And your primary projects is the toiletry drive, book donations, and clothing?
So yeah, we have not done the garage sale in the last couple of years. Typically what we would do is we ask the community, hey, it's spring cleaning, anybody got any free things that they want to give away? And then we typically do a garage sale where we sell everything for $1. The purpose of that was to make things affordable for families that, couldn't afford some of the things, still allow them to feel have their integrity intact, but it still would help the organization, with some of its expenses. Like, because of course the storage and, some of the fees with keeping that together, but it was costing more to do it than what it was costing more for us to do it than what it was benefiting. So it was like kind of not the best benefit. So we're trying to re-strategize how we can provide that and it still be not such of a strain on the org to maintain that.
Okay. So this acronym, LIVE, that's what it stands for. I just don't notice that. Okay. Learn to innovate while creating, is it valiant, extraordinary people? Okay. We're committed to helping our community thrive by providing children and families with the resources they need. All right. So we talked before we went live, some projects you're working on, and you talked about, it looks like you guys purchased a mobile mentor bus, a 14 passenger bus. Tell us more about that.
So one of the things that has always been a barrier for the kids we mentor, or anytime we get in, is with trying to be consistent with a group of kids, is just the transportation issue, right? So it doesn't matter where you located. If I go east or west or wherever I'm at, it's always seemed to be an issue. And I understand that by me being a parent myself. You got people that's working. Sometimes people doesn't have transportation, depending on what the circumstances is. But we wanted to provide a solution that might be really beneficial, right? Where it's not as much overhead and it's reasonable. And we thought, what would be better than to bring the resources that we provide on wheels? So I had a friend that had this shuttle bus that was available, and it was reasonable what they were asking for. And basically that idea went from just the conversation to now it's starting to be a reality. We have the 14 passenger shuttle bus. We're in collaboration with our community partners, the Detroit University of Detroit Mercy, Detroit Collaborative Design Center. They actually have been working with us for the last 6 months, working on the interior as far as the design, what it would look like. So we will have something tangible to provide to donors so they could kind of see what our vision is. It's basically in a 3D sense, like how we would like to take half of the seating out for maybe possibly storage things and things like that. And then we still will have so much seating to still transport.
Okay.
So I think we want to use the bus to its full effect. So not only so for an example, our idea is we did a lot of community engagement to kind of get an idea of what would the people want to see, or what would they like. And so the kids and the parents, every season they had something different. So for an example, if the mobile hub came in the summertime, they would like possible person that will be there to assist with fixing bikes, right? So say it was like, hey, the third Saturday of the month, we'll be at Baldock Park and you can get your bike, air your inner tube change, air in your tire, you need something tightened up on your bike. We there from 2 to 4, or going to a school or area where we have those community partnerships where we got fresh fruit, we got free books, things like that. So as the idea is growing, I'm excited because there's so many more things that we have talked about, like sledding in the winter, water balloon fights in the summer, so it was a lot of great ideas that came out of the community engagement. So I'm excited to see this project go away and see how it really enhances some of the things in the community as far as activities and bringing that positive energy that LIVE is all about.
What role does your community partners play? Is those are the people you provide your programs and services to?
Yes. So I do a lot of I've worked. So it might be like a one-time workshop. So for an example, I've worked at I've did a workshop at the Detroit Healing Hub, right? Which they are on the east side of Detroit, and they are such an awesome organization. They do a lot of things for the youth. But that's a place that I know I can go to that will have, 6 or 7, 8, 10 kids already there. So that's one of the things that is really good for me is, a lot of times when you're a nonprofit and you provide these services, it's hard to get the community to sometimes be consistent if you're just not giving things away, right? That's one of the issues that I have as far as bring the kids to the programs and be consistent with it, because there's more things that can come out of the program. So since that's been a challenge for me, for the org per se, it's better to get with community partners that already have those relationships where you can go there and it's 10 or 15 kids there. That's just like if you go to a school, you're gonna have some kids already there. That way you don't have to be recruiting. So that's why I think it's very important to keep those great relationships, those positive relationships with the community partners. That way, that'll be one less thing that we would have to basically, as a challenge, we would have to do. So now that we're mobile, we can come to the kids and where they at.
Okay. All right. What would you say your organization, the L.I.V.E Outreach, what problem are you guys solving or addressing, and what's the community benefit?
I would say one of the things, just the overall story is just the ability to, you can be who it doesn't, you don't have to be a rocket scientist, or you don't have to come from the best homes or have everything intact to start a nonprofit. You don't have to know everything to start a nonprofit. You can be a felon and start a nonprofit. I think that's one of the things that it says, is that you come as yourself. That's definitely what I want L.I.V.E to be recognized as, that you can come as yourself and be yourself, but you can still accomplish all the same things as anyone else. That's definitely one of the main attributes I feel overall with the story overall. The impact, I would say, is just the consistency as far as change. I think providing the different resources, and we look at, we kind of assess each kid different, right? When I mentor and work with kids, I don't work with them all on the same level, because everybody's not on the same level. This person might not need the same thing that this person needs. So the impact is allowing them to be an individual instead of and put in a group, that I think that's most important.
Okay. It sounds like what you're working on, and you can help clarify. The problem you're solving is, well, it's twofold. You're providing inspiration for those who are in situations like you were, foster care, and by your personal story and your living example, showing what you can become, and you don't have to be a statistic for those who go through the system or be a ward of the state. And also, you're providing resources to children or disadvantaged communities, resources, books, helping families and stuff like that. Is that fair to say? Families, disadvantaged families, inspirational story. Would that best to say?
Yeah. So like, I not necessarily even just foster care though. I just kind of feel like no kind of any kind of situation.
Right.
I think that providing hope.
Okay.
Because I know that sometimes people do go through things and they don't want to talk about it. And sometimes it enlightens them when they hear something from somebody else. So yes, most of what you said is correct. I'm just more at a point where it's a learning lesson. It's learning for me too, right? It's something, because starting the org, it kind of was something that just was instilled in me, like like it's a God-given thing to me, if that make any sense. I never really honestly thought that I would be this would be where it would be my purpose, right? A nonprofit and things like that. But as I'm constantly having these conversations and talking to different people and working with the kids, because hearing a story and a reaction, and how sometimes a kid will just hug me. It been so many different instances where it kind of, I have some type of interaction with a kid, and it kind of just keep me motivated, like just a hug and a thank you. Just like when we did the bikes and kites thing, it was like to see the joy of the kids and all the different avenues, and they riding their bike and they trying to fly their kite, and they eating ice cream, because we had face paint and ice cream, and I just enjoyed that. It was a very peaceful moment, and it was a good experience.
That's great. That's awesome. Now I know you mentioned University of Detroit Mercy is one of your community partners. Did you go through the Boost program, which under the Business School of Social Entrepreneurship?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I went through the program, so I just wanted to. I'm glad that hopefully that was helpful. It was beneficial to me in what I do. So I want to bring back your website, because I wanted you to share what's the best way we can, as a community, can be a support? What's the best way we can support what you're doing?
So yes, currently we are preparing for our annual skating party. It will be held on Halloween. It'll be held on Halloween. Tickets are $15. It's on the Eventbrite too. We will have a costume contest, a raffle, and candy bags for the kids. I think this will be a good opportunity. You know, normally at Halloween it always be kind of crappy weather. So if you want to bring the kids where you don't have to take them trick or treating, but they can still get candy bag at the end and have a great time. Definitely be a great opportunity to help us fundraise. And this will be at the United States of America. Any donations or anything, of course, on the website, theliveoutreach.org. It has the information for the mobile hub. You can click on that. And also the purchase of the book is always a support. And of course, Cash App or PayPal. Anyone can always email me at theliveoutreach@gmail.com. And also the phone number 313-952-4564.
Okay, all right. So they can go right to the website to donate.
Yes.
Now, what if they? Oh, okay, there it is, the mobile hub. So if I click on the mobile hub, we're doing this live.
It takes you to the Give Butter, which
Give
is
butter.
the campaign. Yes, that we
Down
are.
here, the donate button.
Yes.
So far you have. Oh, your goal is 0.
I need y'all help.
Yes, folks who are watching this, donate. Does it matter? Is it a minimum amount? So if you click donate,
No, I think it is. It was 25.
You can say other, right?
Oh,
So
other, yeah. Mm-hmm.
If I say I want to donate $1 million, 100,000, I could continue, right? Let's go ask for. Okay, I'm just doing a demo. So
yeah.
Okay, all right. So it's pretty. So you can donate other, whether it's $10, 25, 1,000. Okay, I didn't know about it's called Go Butter, right?
Give Butter, I believe.
Oh, Give Butter.
Yes, actually, a young lady told me about that. Say this is a really good platform.
What's the difference between that and what's that? A GoFundMe?
I believe the fees, because I believe GoFundMe, it is a lot when you are trying to get the funds that you raise. I don't know what the process technically is, but she was saying this is more towards nonprofits.
Okay.
So I'm assuming, like, as far as tax purposes and different things like that, it might be a little bit different.
Okay. I like that. Oh, you can put your story. Okay. And when did you launch this campaign?
I want to say maybe just a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we need people to give to the mobile.
Yep, I created it September the 22nd.
Okay.
It says it right there. The campaign was created. I know it was a few weeks ago. Yep.
Okay. And then they have the skate party fundraiser. That's something separate.
So that is basically letting people know that fundraiser is some of the money. Any money that's raised for the fundraiser will go towards that too. So they ask if you have any additional things that you're doing besides just having that platform. Okay. Are you doing anything else? And yeah, the skating party is an addition to that, because of course, sometimes people want it's tangible. So
okay, here's your book right here. Tell us more about your book. It's on Amazon.
So the book is on Amazon. It's titled "I'm Just Trying to Live" by Malika, a Dreamer. And that's the bio. Yeah. So that's $15 on Amazon. And I always have tangible books too. So if someone wanted a physical book,
when your book's up. Yeah, where can they get directly from you? Where can they get the book?
Email me or the phone number on the
phone number.
Account. Yes, because some people say, "Hey, I would love the book autograph." So, I'm always excited for that.
Hello, you there?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button.
It's okay.
We still live. Okay. All right. Yeah. We back. I hit the wrong button. I'm doing two things at once. So
That's okay. It
okay.
happens.
All right. So I want to make sure. Let me share my screen and get that thing here. 1 second. Get the website up here. All right, here we go. All right, so they can get the book.
They can get the book on Amazon, and if they wanted to get the book from me personally, they can definitely email the liveoutreach@gmail.com, or they can contact that phone number. And I can definitely get them a physical book where I can sign it. Some people like the signed autograph book. So,
all right. So this is your contact information I got up here.
Yes.
That's the website, the liveoutreach.org.
And we are on the Live Outreach for Facebook and also Instagram.
Okay. Yep. There's Instagram. There's the email. There's the phone number. They can contact you by phone, email. But most importantly, we want folks to donate to the mobile hub.
Yes.
Let me pull this back here. Can everybody see that? Okay. Yeah, there's that. Yeah. You want to go to that website and click on the mobile hub, just like that. And you guys see it. They need 100. What is that? 150,000 to get to retrofit and to get your mobile 14 passenger van all set.
Get
right?
it all the way to technology. We need electrician. Right. You know, it got to be renovated completely. So
right. Okay.
Yeah, I think I know that it's achievable. So I'm excited. You know.
Okay.
I'm ready for the good fight. So I'm excited about that.
Now back to your book. Who's your book for?
The book is for a mature audience for sure. It's definitely raw and uncut, so it's not to make anybody feel offended, but it's my truth, and it's 100% my truth. So it just gives you insight on a lot of emotional things that I went through. I try to give the reader the feeling of like actually being there. I want them to like, you know, imagine the environment. You know, I try to give as much intel and detail on you know, what it smelt like, what it felt like, what I was feeling, you know, what went on, you know, even, you know, I talk about just the various different things of being a young individual in this position where you kind of feel alone.
Have you been approached by a producer for Tubi or something?
Hey, you listen, that is actually a goal of mine. Actually, that's so funny.
I want to put my bid in to make it a movie.
Yes. Do you know so many people have said that to me? Like that book should be a movie. That I actually need to share a video because I did a promo for this book. That's on YouTube. To give like, you know, and it was such a good promo that people were like, man, I feel that I wanted to watch more. I wanted to get more from it. So I definitely would share that with you. But yes, that is actually a goal, is to get this book, maybe a short film or like you said, Tubi or something like that. Because it's definitely a story that I feel like need to be told. And yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I've been fortunate. I've had 3 Tubi producers that I've interviewed on my platform.
Yeah. All right, then you the plug. You the plug.
I mean, I they've been on my show. I don't know what I can do, but I actually have had thoughts of having my own production company because I've had interesting authors with different stories that I think should be told. That I think inspirational stories. Yes. I think yours it has some of that. You know, of course, we can have a little bit of the ratchet in there because that's what you experience, but it's really overall inspirational.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Overall inspirational. Yeah.
So I cannot wait to share you this link because I think that it will really give you like, because there's not even no words in it. It's more just like acting, and it's like kind of like music, but it's really, really good.
All right. So I want to make sure, folks, if you want to work directly with our guests, that's her contact information. With Malika, there's the liveoutreach.org. Make sure you guys go on that website, and if you can, we want to encourage you to donate to the mobile mentoring. What do you call it? A mobile mentoring.
It's gonna be a mobile mentoring hub.
The mobile mentoring hub, which is a 14-passenger transportation. It's more of a. It's not a van, is it? Is it a van?
It's like a shuttle, kind of like one of those
smaller church shuttles. I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the mobile mentor hub. It's a shuttle bus they need to convert to be a great service to the community. So give to that. Make sure you follow on Facebook, the L.I.V.E Outreach on Facebook, the L.I.V E Outreach on Instagram. It shouldn't be org on it. It should be just the L.I.V E Outreach on Instagram, and there's a phone number. So all right, so that's that. I think we covered everything. So as we close out, any encouraging words or any other announcements or something I've missed that you want to share with our audience?
Well, no, I just want to thank everyone that has been supportive through this journey. I understand that it takes a village for anything. So even with goals and things that I'm trying to accomplish, I know it takes the community, and I'm really thankful for the people in the community. I really enjoy serving the families in the community, and I know that, you know, I'm just thankful for opportunities like being on Charlie the Plug podcast. It's honestly, it's like an honor to be able to have these conversations, and you never know who you might come across. And I hope I keep inspiring, and people inspire me, and it's all in the universe and divine time, right?
All right, right. Well, I definitely appreciate you. Our show is about giving people their flowers, celebrating what they're doing, acknowledging their positive contributions to our community. You're definitely a difference maker. You're doing great things for helping with families, especially with children who have gone through the foster care system. You're an inspirational story, and we appreciate your work in the community, and this is our way of celebrating you. And I definitely want to encourage those who are going to be watching the replay on our YouTube channel or Facebook or LinkedIn. So go to the website, the liveoutreach.org. Make a donation. Support the skating party if you can. If you have kids that's going to go skating, support that, or just donate directly. Anywhere from $10, $20, $1,000, or $1 million. I don't know, whatever you can give. Help with this. Keep forgetting the name. It's a mobile mentoring hub, the shuttle bus, to be converted to really serve its families. So, yeah. So appreciate you. Thank you for being on this podcast.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Malika Williams, from Foster Care to Founder. She founded the organization 10 years, the L.I.V.E Outreach. So we want to thank you for being on here. All right, so that wraps up episode 125. If you're finding value in what we're doing, please like, subscribe, support our guests. I'll see you next week. And don't forget, connections matter.
Hey, everyone. This is Charlie the Plug, your host of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, powered by Empower You Ventures. Don't forget to subscribe so you too can be a part of the biggest empowerment network on YouTube and Facebook. We bring you weekly interviews of Detroit difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship, community involvement, also reaction to business news and community news. This does not happen without your support. Thank you.